Ruby not to take her love to town.
Who knows when to hold 'em
And when to fold 'em.
and says we should rely on each other.
Aha!
It's Kenny Rogers!
Thank you, thank you.
Take a
Nice to
seat.
see you guys.
Oh,
Nice to see you.
so lovely to
Thank
meet you,
you.
Kenny. Take a seat there.
So you've had an amazing career. You've had so many fantastic hits, and here you are back in the UK doing your thing.
Yeah, you know, I love coming. I'm a photographer, first of all, so I love going to places other than my hometown because I get a chance to see things I don't normally get to see. And photography is an interesting thing when you travel. Even if you don't find a photograph, you see things you wouldn't have seen otherwise. You know, we were at the Salisbury Cathedral yesterday, and what a phenomenal place that is. And we went to a couple of other places. So, but you know, music is really what I am, and everything else is what I do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we will talk about your photography and your passion for it a little bit later, but this is why we love you, and this is probably one of my favourite songs of all time.
You got to know when to hold, know when to hold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table, every time the count when the deal is done.
Oh,
Now, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? A 50-piece orchestra playing country music.
it's
But you were
fantastic.
singing it. If it's a great song, it can work
You
in.
know, I was in jazz for 10 years. That's
Yeah.
what that was. It was a show talking about my 10 years in jazz. So we had this big orchestra. It was great fun.
Oh,
If they're just there, why not use them? That's
Yeah, absolutely. They're there.
Oh, it's great. We're so pleased you're here, Kenny. And from country to western.
I think so.
What are your memories of childhood holidays?
Actually, those are my memories. That's my era, the 50s and 60s. You know, I was in high school. I graduated in 56. I dressed like that. I went to those places, and I loved them. I loved those places. You could go to the fair dates and get the Coney Islands or whatever they call them here, the hot dogs on the stick. And my memories is I was raised in the projects in Houston. I had 4 brothers and 3 sisters. And so, you know, when you got that many family members, you always have a good time.
Yeah.
So for holidays, we would always get in the back of a pickup truck, believe it or not, and drive 100 miles to our cousin's house, and that was the fun.
That was it, yeah.
Christmas with a cousin.
It's kind of the country singers background, isn't it? So many country singers have, you know, really straightforward backgrounds that then give them fuel to write their songs for later in life.
Yeah, well, I think that's, you know, that's what country music is about. It's about personal experiences, and if not personal, someone else's personal experience. That I'm really a storyteller. I can write, but there are guys who write so much better than I do. I'd rather have the best song, and then my thing is, if it touches me, I can make it touch you, I think. And that's always been my whole thing. You take songs like, you know, She Believes in Me, The Gambler, Lucy O Lady, Cowardly County, Daytime Friends. Those things are songs. They're stories, and every story has to start you off in some place, take you on a journey, and drop you off with an emotion. And if you find those, they're major.
Well, that's why people love to come and see you, Kenny. And obviously, you're back on the road again. And we were just talking about getting the same sort of buzz as you may have done 20 years ago when you were on the road. But you still kind of have
I
it.
still love it. You know, like I said, getting there is not as much fun as it used to be. But once I get there and walk out on stage, there's no place I'd rather be.
The country fans in this country, you know, are really keen, aren't they? Because they don't get the stars as regularly, maybe, as over.
They're even more keen in Ireland, which you over
yes,
there.
we are.
Yeah, you're going to Belfast, I believe. Yeah.
But you know, I must admit, it is different here, and in a good way. I mean, the people truly care about you. You know, not that they don't in the States, but I mean, here, like you say, they don't. You're not someone they see all the time. So when they see you, they consider it a big deal. So I love that.
Let's have a look at one of the big songs.
Okay.
Let's have a look at one. This is a great clip.
She's a very special girl.
Oh, she's amazing.
I've always told people, if you like her on television, You will love her in person because she's that and more. And she has no filter. If it goes through her mind, it comes out her mouth.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody loves about her. I mean, she will tell you.
Oh, it's incredible. One of my all-time favourite one-show guests, Dolly Parton. We just talked about photography, and just briefly, Kenny, I know
Some of your photos of this country.
Yeah.
That was in Tintern Abbey in Wales. I think.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's you go into these places and you go, wow, what is this? And you get a chance to shoot them, and sometimes you can forget things, but you go home with your memories.
Of course.
And what do you make of this? Because there isn't anything quite this old in the States, as far as
Not
I'm
quite
aware.
this old, no. We were out there again yesterday shooting it, and I loved it. I read the history on it, and it's so fascinating. Because you're right. We were laughing the other day with one of the guys that travels with us about his history book was like this thick, and mine was like that. We only have 200 years of
A little
history.
bit of catching up.
Yeah, I think so.
Great stuff, Ken.
Great, I know. And Kenny's tour continues in Edinburgh, I believe, tomorrow night, followed by Glasgow, Birmingham, Manchester, and Belfast.
Yes,
You'll
sir.
enjoy that one. Kenny is, of course, one of America's greatest musical exports. Another very different star on both